Dr. Stuart Weinstein is one of the world's foremost pediatric orthopedic surgeons. Born in Chicago, he came to Iowa in 1968 as a medical student and joined the department as a resident in 1973. He became a faculty member in 1976. And in 1987, in recognition of his exemplary accomplishments as a clinician, investigator, and teacher, he was named the Ignacio Ponseti Chair of Orthopedic Surgery. This year, the Carver College of Medicine awarded its highest honor to Stuart Weinstein and Ignacio Ponseti, the Distinguished Mentor Award. The first time in the history of the college that two individuals were honored in the same year. There certainly could have been no more fitting choice. Stuart Weinstein.
Helena, Bill, Chris, Diana, members of the Ponseti family, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to celebrate today and honor a man who has profoundly affected all of us in one way or another and changed the lives of thousands of patients, not only here in Iowa, but around the world. Each of us in our own way has had a special relationship with Dr. Ponseti that we reflect upon today. To some of you, he was a teacher. Some of you, he was a mentor. Some a friend, some a colleague, some a role model. And to some of you, he was a hero. To me, he was all of these. No one person outside of my family has been so important or meant so much to me or had such a profound influence on my life as Dr. Ponseti. Today, I want to celebrate what his mentorship meant to me personally. And some of my comments will reflect the feelings of every student who attended the University of Iowa from 1944 to 1984, and every orthopedic resident who went through our training program during his amazing 65-year tenure as a faculty member. And lastly, I'll conclude my remarks by talking about what I think is his legacy. Every medical student and every orthopedic resident, to a man, will tell you how much they admired and respected Dr. Ponseti as a clinician teacher. All will tell you of his gentle manner, his overwhelming concern for patients, and his dedication to excellence. When I was a resident, what I saw in Dr. Ponseti was not only a master surgeon, but a dedicated scientist, teacher, patient advocate, and I knew from the beginning that I wanted to be like him. He was always, to the very end, on a quest for the understanding of the fundamentals of the diseases affecting children we were seeing in the clinic. He made certain that when we proposed treatments to families, that we had full knowledge of the pathoanatomy of that condition, its natural history, and how follow-ups of treatment had affected the natural history with respect to outcomes. And he listened to patients. He wanted to know their perception of what we were presenting to them. When Reg Cooper offered me a chance to join the faculty in 1976 and work with my hero, it was a dream come true. Dr. Ponseti was so generous and so unselfish in sharing with me his, at that time, 30-year experience in pediatric orthopedics. I was like a sponge trying to absorb everything I possibly could. What I think is important to stress about being mentored by Dr. Ponseti is that he wasn't looking for a disciple or someone to sing his praises in the orthopedic community. He was truly interested in the well-being of our department, of this university, and our specialty. Over the last 37 years, we spent a lot of time together, including some wonderful vacations with Helena, Chris, and Diana, and Bill, and almost every day or every few day talks in his office in the afternoon. Dr. Ponseti was always appreciative of his mentors. In his office, he has a very nice picture of his graduating class of the University of Barcelona in 1936. And periodically, he would pick out one man and he would tell me of the attributes of that individual, where they trained, and how they influenced his life. And each time he spoke of these individuals, he spoke of them with great reverence. He helped me appreciate the important responsibility that all of us in this room who are educators have to also be mentors. Dr. Ponseti not only mentored me in pediatric orthopedics, but also in life, in history, in art, music, and on our hikes in Rocky Mountain National Park, he taught me a lot about wildflowers. I too learned of his growing up in Spain, his experiences in the Spanish Civil War, his experience as a general practitioner in Mexico, and this wonderful story Reg alluded to of his coming to America, which is a story I wish you all could hear. He also taught me about the legends of the ever-growing specialty of orthopedic surgery that he'd seen in the 1930s and onward, and the great leaders of our specialty that came through Iowa City to meet with his mentor, Dr. Arthur Steinler. I learned of also the other great physicians who contributed to making the University of Iowa a very special place and a wonderful environment for learning. What a priceless education and privilege I've had over the past 37 years. Now, in speaking about Dr. Ponseti's legacy, I suspect that many of you will think I'll anchor my remarks about his legacy related to the development of a treatment for club foot, a method that has provided complete restoration of normal foot function in a matter of weeks from an otherwise crippling disorder. This contribution to medicine has garnered Dr. Ponseti many accolades and tributes over the last 10 years or so. Unfortunately, they came about 30 years too late. This legacy is well known to every one of you who reads the Press Citizen, the Gazette, the Register, or any of the national newspapers or magazine, where there have been many stories about the clubfoot treatment success. But this is really only a small part of his legacy, because Dr. Ponseti's legacy and its reach goes far beyond clubfoot treatment. It extends to the entire world of pediatric orthopedics, to our department, to this university, and in fact, to the world. The legacy Dr. Ponseti leaves to us was born and nurtured by his life experiences, his role models, circumstances of history, the environment which various interpersonal relationships and events have taken place, chance meetings, and roads taken when choices were available. I hope all of you have had the chance to read Helen's wonderful biography, because there you learn a lot of these circumstances and influences that contributed to who Dr. Ponseti was and the factors that affected his legacy that we celebrate today. You all know he was born in Menorca, educated in Barcelona at a wonderful first-rate university by outstanding leaders who we've alluded to. But his medical career, unlike ours, ended not with the promise of application of knowledge to the betterment of humanity, but with the onset of war. The Spanish Civil War, the prelude to World War II, resulted in his loss of citizenship, his property, suppression of his Catalan culture, essentially loss of everything, a situation that's almost unimaginable to all of us in this room. However, the tragic events of the Spanish Civil War led to the circumstantial situation that was to be our good fortune. The visionary leadership of then Mexican President Cardenas, granting citizenship to the now displaced and skilled and educated workforce of Catalans, Basques, and others, led Dr. Ponseti to emigrate to Mexico in 1939. This led to a chance meeting with Dr. Juan Farril, a noted Mexican orthopedic surgeon who had spent 1 year in Iowa City on a Guggenheim Fellowship studying under Dr. Steinler. This relationship with Farril then led to Farril writing to Dr. Steinler asking if he would accept this graduate student, and Dr. Ponseti's coming to Iowa City in June of 1941. Not to repeat this again, but his story of coming to America is a story that always really touched me, because he never failed to continue to express his appreciation for what a great country this was. And he never hesitated to say this over and over again. And what we take for granted each and every day by being an American, to him was a great privilege. Iowa City and this university provided the fertile soil, the conducive environment for him to begin to create the legacy that we celebrate today. Training under such an international thought leader as Arthur Steinler profoundly affected his legacy as well. Working in a department and an environment where teaching and research were valued assets in the context of patient care were to be the fundamental tenets that pervaded his entire career and are part of his legacy, a legacy which we as faculty members here have to work ever increasingly harder to preserve in the current climate of academic medicine. The university also provided a working environment that fostered collaboration across disciplines in pediatrics and the basic sciences, which led to the blossoming of one of his richest legacies, his science career. His basic contributions in developmental hip dysplasia, Perthes disease, skeletal dysplasia, collagen biochemistry, and of course, clubfoot. These contributions have provided a worldwide legacy for pediatric orthopedic surgeons to this day.